There's a strange kind of silence that doesn't bring peace. It brings chaos, creeps in slowly. First, the replies get shorter. Then the calls stop coming. Eventually, you're staring at your phone, wondering what changed, what you did wrong, what you didn't see. And then it happens. Nothing. No explanation. No closure. Just absence. You're left pacing in your mind, dissecting moments, rewinding conversations, looking for that one sentence, that one message, that 1 second where everything shifted. And the deeper you go, the less sense it makes. This isn't about pickup lines or dating tactics. This is about something deeper, something existential. It's about how a man handles being emotionally discarded, without warning, without reason. This is the battlefield of modern relationships. Silent, but devastating. Most men were never taught how to navigate this. We were taught to chase, to fix, to apologize for things we don't understand. And so, when she pulls away, the instinct is to run after her, to prove your worth, to restore her interest, to win her back. But that instinct is precisely what betrays you. You see, this pain you feel, it's not just about her. It's about your nervous system reacting to disconnection. Attachment theory calls it an activation of the anxious system. When a bond is threatened, the body floods with cortisol. The mind begins to spiral. You crave her like a drug, not because she's right for you, but because she feels like safety, like validation. Psychologists call this emotional dysregulation. Philosophers call it illusion. And yet, here you are, caught in it, heart racing, thoughts obsessive, pride deteriorating by the hour. This script isn't here to give you false hope. It's here to offer you something else, something stronger. Path, the Stoic path. Not reaction, but response. Not grasping, but grounding. Not control over her, but control over yourself. And it begins right here, in the silence. There's a moment right after she pulls away, when something inside begins to break. But it's not the heart. Not yet. It's the identity. Because for many men, especially those who never learned emotional sovereignty, her presence didn't just feel good, it defined them. Her attention became proof of their worth. Her affection became the mirror in which they saw themselves. So when she leaves, it's not just her absence they're grieving. It's the collapse of who they thought they were. This is the hidden trauma no one talks about. Not because it's rare, but because it's common and too uncomfortable to name. But it has a name: emotional enmeshment, the unconscious fusion of your identity with hers. Her mood dictates your mood. Her silence feels like your failure. Her pulling away feels like your unworthiness. It's not love, it's dependency. And this dependency doesn't die quietly. It screams, in the form of panic, rumination, and obsession. Neuroscience gives us the brutal truth. When you're bonded to someone, even casually, your brain builds dopamine loops around that connection. Each text, each laugh, each intimate moment is logged like a hit of pleasure. And when it disappears, withdrawal, your body literally begins to crash. The brain doesn't distinguish between drug loss and person loss. That's why ghosting, rejection, or cold distancing feels like insanity. Not because you're broken, but because you were biologically hooked. And it's worse for men who fall into the nice guy trap. The ones who gave, compromised, accommodated, not out of abundance, but out of silent expectation. Covert contracts, as Robert Glover describes them. Acts of kindness done with invisible strings attached. If I'm good enough, if I treat her right, if I stay patient, she'll love me. But the world doesn't operate by those contracts. And when she walks away despite them, or because of them, the devastation cuts even deeper. Here's the truth most avoid. It's not her loss that hurts the most. It's what her loss reveals. That you didn't know who you were without her. That your emotional center was outsourced. That your self-worth was always hanging by a thread. And she was holding it. But this collapse, as brutal as it feels, isn't the end. It's the necessary death before rebirth. Stoicism doesn't numb this pain. It names it. It stares it in the face. And then it asks a different question, not, how do I win her back? But, who am I without her? That question is not for the weak. It is for the man ready to walk through fire and come out steel. This suffering is the doorway. What lies beyond is the Stoic rebirth. When your world spins out of control, when she pulls away, when the silence grows louder than her words ever were, your mind naturally reaches for something to hold on to. Anything, a reason, a fix, a way to pull her back in. This is chaos, but chaos is not new. It's as old as humanity itself. And long before dating apps, ghosting, or text message anxiety, there were men who faced chaos without collapsing. Men who didn't just survive emotional storms. They transcended them. They were called Stoics. Today, Stoicism is often misunderstood, reduced to memes, quoted but not lived. But to understand what Stoicism truly is to understand that it isn't a denial of emotion. It's not numbness. It's not apathy. Stoicism is alignment, a return from chaos to logos, the rational order of the universe. One of the core pillars of Stoic thought is found in the teachings of Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher. Some things are up to us and some things are not. This is the dichotomy of control, the clearest lens through which a man can view emotional pain. You can't control her thoughts, her feelings, her choices, but you can control yours. That's the path. That's the shield. That's the sword. Contrast this with the reactive man, the one who scrambles for attention, who overtexts, who stalks social media profiles, who begs for closure. His energy is erratic, his value leaking out with every anxious message. He is not in control of himself because he believes he must control her. Now consider the Stoic. He feels the pain, but he does not become it. He grieves the loss, but he does not chase it. He stands in the wreckage and rebuilds. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and author of Meditations, wrote many of his most powerful insights while enduring war, betrayal, illness, and the death of his wife and children. He didn't ask, "Why me?" He asked, "What is mine to do?" Even in modern times, the Stoic spirit endures. Admiral James Stockdale, a prisoner of war in Vietnam for over 7 years, credits Epictetus for helping him survive brutal captivity without losing his dignity. He accepted what he could not change. He mastered what he could, his inner response. And so, when she pulls away, you are left with two choices. Desperation, where you become smaller, frantic, and forget who you are. Or discipline, where you return to what you can control. The Stoic does not try to bend the universe. He aligns himself with it. That's not weakness. That's real power. So, you didn't chase. You didn't send a paragraph. You didn't beg. You didn't spiral into desperation. You didn't try to win her back with flowers, long texts, or frantic explanations. You chose stillness. And now, something unexpected begins to happen. Not outside, but within her. Most men never make it this far. Most react. Most panic. Most become predictable. But when a man responds with calm detachment, not coldness, not cruelty, but grounded indifference, it creates a psychological mirror. And in that mirror, she sees herself more clearly than ever before. You see, much of attraction and disconnection operates beneath awareness. Women often don't know why they lose interest, why they pull away, why something once magnetic now feels dull. It's not always logical. It's energetic. Masculine energy at its core is order, presence, direction, calm under fire. Feminine energy, by contrast, is flow, emotion, change, movement. The dance between the two requires polarity, opposite forces that spark tension and desire. But when a man collapses into neediness, the polarity dies. He becomes emotionally reactive. He tries to talk it out. He becomes the chaos, and she can feel it instantly. But when a man steps back with detachment, not to punish, not to manipulate, but because he knows his value, something primal is triggered. He is no longer chasing her energy. He is anchoring his own. This is not emotional suppression. Suppression is fear. Detachment is clarity. And clarity is power. As Carl Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Detachment is the moment a man integrates his shadow, the part of him he was told to hide. his assertiveness, his independence, his boundaries, his anger, his truth. When this integration happens, something remarkable occurs. He becomes still but not passive, present but not needy, mysterious but not manipulative. And she feels it. She may not come back. That's not the point. But what often returns, perhaps for the first time, is respect. Because respect isn't built on obedience. It's built on sovereignty. When you stop trying to win her, you win yourself. That's the paradox of detachment. What once repelled her, your overinvestment, fades. And what remains is you, calm, unshaken, magnetic. She pulled away, but now she feels something else, your absence and your power. There's a particular kind of heartbreak that hits harder than most. It's not the loss of her, but the realization that you were never truly yourself around her. You were agreeable, polite, always available. You listened to her problems, suppressed your own needs, and showed up every time she called. You thought love was something to be earned by being soft, sweet, selfless. You thought that if you just kept doing the right things, she'd never leave. But she did. And now you're left with a bitter truth. One that many men spend years avoiding. You were never loved. You were tolerated. Welcome to the inner world of the nice guy. Dr. Robert Glover coined the term nice guy syndrome to describe a man who seeks approval above authenticity. He's the guy who doesn't want to make waves, who hides his desires, who bends over backwards to be good, hoping goodness will be rewarded with love. But beneath every nice guy is a hidden contract, a covert contract. If I do everything right, if I never upset her, if I always say yes, she'll stay. But women don't fall for men who shrink themselves. They don't desire compliance. They crave presence, honesty, strength. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect. And when a man hides who he is to gain affection, something inside her senses the lie. Attraction dies. The transformation begins not when you become colder, but when you become realer. The noble Stoic is not a jerk. He is not a manipulator. He is not red-pilled in bitterness. He is simply free. He gives without needing. He speaks his truth without apology. He stands in his values, even if it costs him attention. This man understands that peace is more valuable than validation. He doesn't become hard to impress out of arrogance. He becomes discerning out of respect for himself. And here's the paradox. The more you stop trying to be what she wants, the more you start becoming who you really are. And that man, grounded, principled, centered, is not just attractive. He's rare. History offers countless examples of this shift. Think of Odysseus, not just a warrior but a man tempered by trials. Or Seneca, navigating political peril in Rome with unwavering poise. These were not nice guys. They were disciplined, decisive, and deeply human. Your journey is no different. You were taught that being nice would bring you love. But love without truth is hollow, and approval without authenticity is slavery. So shed the mask, burn the contract, let go of the need to be liked, and become the man you would respect. The noble Stoic doesn't chase women. He walks his path, and lets those worthy walk beside him. Aristotle once spoke of the unmoved mover, a force so complete, so self-contained, that it sets everything in motion without itself being moved. It doesn't chase, it doesn't cling, it simply is, and from its stillness a gravity is born. In modern masculine psychology, this isn't just a metaphysical idea, it's an ideal. The man who is unshaken by chaos, unfazed by rejection, unmoved by the tides of external validation. He isn't cold. He isn't detached out of fear. He is centered. When she pulls away, this man doesn't retaliate. He doesn't play games. He doesn't mirror her distance to manipulate her emotions. He simply returns to himself. This is the Stoic response. Not indifference, but equanimity. A deep, grounded calm that cannot be bought or broken by others' choices. Where the reactive man spirals, the unmoved mover breathes. Where the anxious man grasps, he lets go. And paradoxically, in doing nothing, he exerts the most powerful force there is, emotional gravity. Because nothing is more unsettling or intriguing than someone who cannot be shaken. In a world of emotional volatility, he becomes rare, magnetic, respected, not just in love, but in all domains of life. In rejection, he does not seek to rewrite the ending. He learns the lesson and sharpens the blade. In career, he does not chase status for ego. He pursues purpose with quiet intensity. In relationships, he does not demand affection. He offers presence and lets the truth reveal who stays. This isn't about dominance. It's about discipline. Not about control over others, but mastery over self. Because storms will come, people will pull away, life will challenge your foundation. The only question is, will you be moved, or will you become the man who, like the still mountain, watches the clouds pass, untouched by their shape, unmoved by their noise? This was never just about her. It was never just about the silence, the rejection, or the unanswered messages. This was about you, because if one woman's distance can shake your foundation, then the problem was never her. The problem was the foundation itself. A man without structure is a man always at risk of being pulled, provoked, manipulated, broken. But a man who builds himself, deliberately, daily, becomes something else entirely, an emotional fortress. And this fortress is not made of walls. It's made of rituals. You journal each morning, not for inspiration, but for clarity. You write your fears, your desires, your weaknesses. You confront them like a soldier studies the battlefield. You train your body not for Instagram, not for compliments, but because physical discipline sharpens mental resilience. You choose the discomfort of reps over the pain of regret. You read philosophy not as entertainment but as armor. Seneca becomes your teacher, Marcus your guide, Epictetus your reflection. You spend time in solitude, in forests, in silence, in stillness, because in a world addicted to noise, stillness is rebellion. And in that rebellion, you remember, you are not lonely, you are aligned. This is how the Stoic prepares. Not for women, not for war, not for applause, but for life. Because people will leave. The world will test you. The void will return. But the man who has built his temple, brick by brick, breath by breath, doesn't flinch. He doesn't chase peace. He becomes it. Love can be intoxicating. It lifts you, warms you, makes the world feel electric. But it can also vanish without warning. Because love is emotional. It's reactive. It's fickle. Respect, on the other hand, is different. Respect is earned. It's forged in how you carry yourself when things fall apart, in how you respond when she pulls away, in how you hold the line, even when your heart begs you to break it. This is the Stoic truth. Being respected is more enduring than being loved, because respect doesn't depend on chemistry, or circumstance, or mood. It depends on character. So she pulled away, let her. You don't chase. You build. You return to the work. You return to the ritual. You return to your center. Be so grounded, so intentional, so unwavering, that even rejection becomes a source of strength. Because a man who cannot be moved by loss, a man who turns heartbreak into power, becomes untouchable. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You don't need her validation. You don't even need her understanding. You need you. So don't try to win her back. Win yourself back. The man who does that will never be left again, because wherever he walks, even alone, he walks with purpose. If this message resonated with you, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. Share it with anyone who might need to hear this today, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Let's keep the conversation going, because respect is something we can all keep building.